I've had the idea for much like, and actually exactly like the famous Pixar napkin, where they wrote down like six or seven of the greatest Pixar movies of all time in like a single meeting, basically. Like
Ours is like
Finding
a
Nemo
half
and everything like
used.
that.
Ours is like a used Kleenex though.
It's a it's a wet wipe that I tried to write on in pen, and it did not work. But I memorized it. Um, and I have, which I've sent you a lot of my things, but I have a notebook that just like some of them are just ideas that I came off of the cusp, like, punny names that I think would be fun for an episode. And then some of them are like deep rooted ideas that I really like. And one of them, we did last season with Thomas the Snowpiercer, which is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And this one is another one that I've been wanting to do for a while, so I'm so excited to do it, which is Indiana Jones and the Tomb of the Tamagotchi. And the general concept here, obviously, is that in this version of Indiana Jones, it's same characters, but what if we place them kind of in the far future, or at least, I would say about 1,000 years in the future, ambiguously, and the artifacts that they're finding are things from our time. And like, what would that look like? How silly would that look? And we kind of just took that idea and ran with it from there. So you'll see a lot of the same names and characters either redesigned or reimagined in like that kind of format, and what that would look like. So today we've got Griffin, who's going to be playing our titular role of Indiana Jones. Griffin, don't fuck this up. This is your big
dude,
shot.
You don't understand. When you sent that message, I just felt an enormous amount of pressure on my shoulders. I was like, I am not equipped for this.
There's a lot riding on this, a lot of sponsorships.
Use that.
Fucking me. Oh, God.
Use that.
All right. Yeah, right.
Andee is going to be playing Marion, who, to your thing earlier, Griffin, I think is so superior to whatever her name is from Temple of Doom.
Willie?
Oh,
man.
She fucking
I love
sucks,
Willie.
dude. Like, Marion is a good, is a useful, character. Willie is a damsel in distress all the time, and it just pisses me off. Marion is awesome. She kicks ass, and I'm excited for Andee to bring her to life. And we've got Adam, whose main, I would say probably main role in tonight's script is going to be Salah in his redesigned version for this script. All right, so I guess without further ado, this is Indiana Jones and the Tomb of the Tamagotchi. Interior. Toys R Us Temple. Day. A tall man, dressed in brown leather jacket and fedora, treads carefully down a cobweb-ridden corridor in the legendary Toys R Us Temple. He taps his foot in front of him, checking for traps like he's done a million times before. Behind the man trails along a rusty robot, scooting around on one wheel.
Mr. Jones, are you positive that we're nearing the treasure?
The man, Indiana Jones, continues to check for traps in front of them.
One more line of code out of you, and the only thing your data core will remember after this will be my fist coming straight for it.
The robot is shaken by this threat.
Yes, of course, Mr. Jones. My apologies. It's just that my client can be somewhat impatient when it comes to such rare artifacts as the one we're pursuing.
Indy notices a symbol etched into one of the floor squares, a boxy S shape. He gets down on his hands and knees to examine it.
The East Carolina Museum of History has waited hundreds of years to get their hands on this exhibit. They can wait a few more minutes to ensure we get out of here with our heads still on.
I understand, Mr. Jones. It's just that...
Indy has had it. He stands up and grabs the robot by its metal collarbone and readies his other hand in fist mode.
That's Dr. Jones to you, pal. Now shut your robot yap before something...
Just then, there's a rumble from all around them. Indy looks down to see that he's accidentally stepped on the S-tile, which is now sunken into the floor.
Uh-oh. Duck!
Indy pulls the robot to the ground and the two cover their heads, expecting a trap of some sort. After a moment, a sliding panel on the back end of the corridor opens up, revealing a large chamber on the other side of it. Indy stands back up, helps the robot up as well, and pats its metal chest plate.
You see? Just as I planned.
He runs ahead into the chamber.
Of course it was. Dr. Jones.
The robot follows him into the room. Interior, chamber of the mystic orb, continuous. As we follow the two into this large new space, we see two things. A pedestal in the very middle with a dusty black orb on top of it, and a humongous stone statue presiding over it. The statue looks vaguely like an anthropomorphic giraffe.
Is that...
An ancient deity from before times. The people of that era called it Jeffrey.
What a dark age in your species' history that was.
Indy approaches the pedestal with caution.
Look at this, S.A.T. Poe. We finally found it, the legendary 8th ball of knowledge. No one knows what happened to the first 7, though speculation leads us to believe that they were lost in the New York Public Library fire of 2052. Can you believe it? The stories say it holds the tear of an ancient god, perhaps Jeffrey, and is able to answer any yes or no question it's asked. Man, the boys at the East Carolina exhibit are gonna flip their lid for this.
I'm afraid it's not going to a museum, Dr. Jones.
Indy turns around to find that S.A.T. Poe has pointed a laser pistol at his chest.
What is this? What's going on?
I don't work for the boys at the East Carolina exhibit, Dr. Jones. That was merely a ruse. My real owner is a man of great power and influence. But with this 8th ball, he'll be unstoppable.
S.A.T. Poe puts a robot hand on the ball.
All right, now hold on, wait. We don't know if this is a trap. You could kill us both.
For a supposed doctor, you're not that smart, now are you, Jones? This temple is hundreds of years old. There's yet to be a trap in this dusty place, and if there was one, it's highly improbable it would even function anymore. So statistically, Dr. Jones, checkmate.
The robot removes the ball from its pedestal, and immediately, the entire room starts to shake. A string of miniature explosives around the base of the large giraffe statue go off and send the deity plummeting directly toward S.A.T. Poe.
Well, shit.
The statue crushes the robot, narrowly missing Indy, but knocking him off his feet. From under the statue, the robot's inactive body releases the ball from its clutches. The 8th ball freely rolls to Indy's feet. He stands up, picking up the ball as he does so.
Do you belong in a museum?
Indy shakes the ball. After a moment, a message appears in the orb's mystic eye. It reads, "It is decidedly so."
I knew it.
Title, Indiana Jones and the Tomb of the Tamagotchi. Fade 2. Interior University Classroom Day. Indiana stands at the front of the lecture hall teaching archaeology to intro students. The class is comprised of humans and cyborgs alike, all of them equally bored as hell.
And though its location remains a mystery to this day, countless archaeologists have hunted and died for the golden Twinkie, just to get a taste of what ancient scriptures call the chosen snack of the gods.
Indy waits for a response. He's hoping for awe and inspiration, but he gets groans and aggravation. Just then, a school bell rings and all of the students get up and leave as fast as they can.
Don't forget, we have our quiz on ancient sports this Flars Day, and there will be questions about bowling on...
The classroom is vacated before Indy has a chance to finish.
Who cares?
Only the wisest among us nowadays, it seems, Dr. Jones.
Indy sees his colleague, Dr. Marcus Brody, leaning up against the doorframe. He smiles and gives his friend a big hug.
Marcus, it's good to see you, my friend.
I take it by the ads I've gotten about the East Carolinians' new exhibit that your last exhibition was a success?
Indy pulls Marcus aside.
I had it, Marcus. I had it in the palm of my hand. And then I shook it, and it was fucking dope.
Well, I can tell with your classroom frustrations that you're itching to get back out there. It just so happens that I have a friend from the Army here today who would very much like to speak with you.
You know I don't do expeditions for the Army anymore, Marcus. Greedy sons of bitches, they just want artifacts of power to make the country stronger.
Marcus looks around, checking for any nosy Nancys, and leads in close.
Indy, they found it.
Found what?
Interior, lecture hall later. Indiana now paces by a chalkboard while Marcus and a robot, Major Arnold Tote, sit at a nearby table.
The Tamagotchi.
With all due respect, Major, that's impossible. The Tamagotchi is supposed to be a myth, a legend from the before times. It's a children's bedtime story at best.
It was impossible, Dr. Jones, but it seems to our dismay that the bad guys believe in fairy tales.
No. You don't mean...
Yes, Dr. Jones. Robo-Nazis.
Oh, shit.
What I can't seem to figure out is why they waste so many resources on obtaining such an item.
Isn't it obvious?
And he flips the chalkboard to a clean side and illustrates as he talks.
The Tamagotchi, at least in the stories, was an ancient technological device that was said to have the power to create life. Some even called it the cradle of creation. From what we know, it was used as a training tool to help young humans at the time learn how to grow and maintain a living being. But in the wrong hands, I mean, in theory, it's a technology that could be used to even revive a life that has been gone for quite some time.
No. They're going to use it to revive Mecha Hitler?
I hate you so much, Justin. Just let it die. This is what we fear. Yes.
Then there isn't a moment to lose. We need to get there and recover the artifact before they do.
Patience, Dr. Jones. No one is more giddy to preemptively strike than the U.S. Army. But for now, the Robo-Nazis only have an approximation of where it might be. I think it will be far more strategic to hunt down something we do know how to find. The Tamagotchi's power source.
The power source? Like some sort of energy well?
Something like that. The history books called them AAA batteries. And to retrieve 2 of the only remaining ones on Earth, it would seem you'll only need to pay a visit to an old friend, Dr. Jones.
An old friend? Who?
Marcus scrunches his face.
Let's just say neither you nor her are going to like it.
Her?
It dawns on Indy.
Ah, crap.
Cut to travel montage. Overlaid with music, we see the travels of Indiana Jones via Future Jet. Yes, that's what it's called, okay? Get off my back about it. The Future Jet travels across the map, trailed by a red line to show its path. He watches the Future Jet make some pit stops and does some sick tricks. It goes straight from a loop-de-loop right into an ollie, and then a kick flip into a downhill grind. It's friggin' dope. And it nears its destination. We see a city on the map labeled Allentown. The map... The map begins to disappear as we fade to interior, Marion's Gastropub night. We see the interior of a futuristic bar. There are humans and robots alike, all cheering for 2 individuals seated at a table in the middle, taking turns at taking shots of some mystery liquid. The first individual, a young woman named Marion, is the owner of the gastropub. The second is a robot. Let's call him Bar Robot.
It's over, Marion. I have the higher tolerance.
Marion grins. She takes another shot of the mystery liquid and struggles to keep it down. Nevertheless, she places her shot glass face down on the table, signaling that it is once again the robot's turn. The robot looks nervous, but picks up the shot regardless.
I am nowhere near my limit. I could do this all night.
The robot's mouth hatch opens up. It pours the liquid in, twitches a bit, and then closes the hatch. It then confidently looks back at Marion.
Ha, see?
The robot blows up. There's a cheering from some in the audience and groans from others as bets are fulfilled and Marion collects her winnings.
All right, everyone, bar's closed. Back out into the barren wastelands of Allentown with a lot of you.
There's more groans from the patrons as they leave, because they know there's nothing else to do in Allentown.
Still can drink with the best of them, I see.
Marion turns around and sees Indiana standing in the doorway.
Better than the best of them, stranger.
Indy smiles and steps in, closing the door behind him.
Marion?
Indiana Jones. How'd I know someday I'd find you standing in my doorway again? It's like a bad fortune cookie.
Now, Marion, I know the last time we saw each other, we weren't on the best of terms, but...
Not on the best of terms. Don't you remember the ambiguously horrible and probably illegal thing you did to me? I was a child, Indy. I was in love.
Oh, would you stop complaining about that non-specific crime I probably committed? Haven't I apologized enough? Marion, I'm here because of your father. I know in his career he found a power source the ancient people called AAA batteries. Do you know where he might have left them?
Marion pushes her hair behind her ears, casually revealing an earring on both one with a battery dangling from each.
I have no clue where he put them, and even if I did, I would never help you again for the 11th time, Indiana Jones.
There's a sudden knock at the door, and a robotic voice beckons from outside. Knock, knock. It's the robot Nazis. We wanna come in and enjoy. We really love human liquids. Yum yum. Please let us in so we can sit and enjoy your beverages, and we will leave your bar totally unburned for sure. Marion turns to Indy.
Never mind. I'm in. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Cut to second travel montage. Back on the future jet. The plane travels across the map from Allentown, sailing around the world. This time, it does a feather flip into a plasma spin. I looked up all these terms, by the way.
Good for you.
Stops to crush up some Xanax and snort that shit, and then drops into a casino to gamble for the last time. Finally, the future jet lands in Frederick, Maryland, which is approximately a 1-hour commercial flight from Allentown. So why it went all the way around the world is beyond me. Interior, Frederick household dusk. Indy and Marion are now sitting at a table with a new friend to us, but an old friend to them. The friend in question, a cyborg named Cyborg Salah, offers them an unrecognizable dish that's just covered in Old Bay seasoning.
No thanks.
Suit yourself.
Cyborg Salah eats the whole thing and then licks the plate of any remaining specks of Old Bay that may have been on the dish.
Salah, we need your help. You know the area better than any of those Nazi bastards. We might have the power source, but if the robo-Nazis get to the Tamagotchi before us, it's only a matter of time that they figure out how to use it without the batteries.
I would not be so worried, my friend. These robo-Nazis, they haven't a full circuit board amongst a lot of them.
Salah coats the plate in more Old Bay and then continues.
But there is one that concerns me. That French fellow. If not for him, these villains wouldn't know which way was due north.
French fellow?
Belloc. Man, I should have known he'd be helping the enemy.
Who's Belloc?
A fellow archaeologist. We bump into each other in quite a lot of our expeditions. It doesn't matter. Whether it's dinosaurs, space stuff, the Earth's core, mythical beings, really any of those things that our profession covers, we're always head to head. But he's in it for the wrong reasons, so, he's the bad guy.
That makes sense.
Salah halts his Old Bay consumption, wraps up the plate with loose seasoning on it, and puts it in the fridge for later.
Come, I will lead you to the dig site.
Cut to exterior, Homewood Cemetery, night. Indiana, Marion, and Salah watch from afar behind one of those grave house things as a decently sized excavation attempt is being pursued by the Robo-Nazis and friends.
I shouldn't be worried. Salah, this is a huge excavation. If they know where they're looking, they'll have the Tamagotchi by sunrise.
But they don't know where they're looking, Jones. Their intel and Belloc's research led them to find that the last remaining Tamagotchi was owned and buried with a woman named Laura Holt. So, they've been digging in the Holt section of the cemetery for days. But what they don't know is that Laura was only a Holt by marriage. When her husband passed away, she retook her maiden name.
Indy realizes where they've been standing and backs up to read the name on the grave house thing. After a quick Google search, I now know that they're called mausoleums.
Laura Lebers.
Sharp as always, Jones. Here, take some Old Bay.
I always keep it on me.
This is a loose little baggie. Poured it myself.
Cyborg Salah, you...
Actually, please don't call me that. Just Salah is okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Salah, you came through.
I always do, Madam Marion.
Marion kisses Salah on the cheek.
That is for Faya.
She kisses him on the other cheek.
That is for your children.
She full-on makes out with him on his mouth.
And that is for you.
He's just fucking shit. So dumb.
It happens in the movie. Like I'm not.
We're not dating, but I still feel very uncomfortable with what just happened.
Salah opens the gate to the mausoleum.
Post haste, Jones. Let's go save the world from the return of a tyrant.
Interior, Leppert's mausoleum moments later. Inside the mausoleum, Salah, then Marion, then Indy all drop down into the dark depths of the tomb. Surrounding them are coffins, each marked with their intended tenant. Indy goes down the line reading off the names. He holds up a simulated torch. It's like a regular torch, but the fire is digital. It's purely aesthetic.
Lester, Lena, Laura, she's here.
The others gather around the coffin.
Salah, a hand?
Of course, my friend.
Salah's robot arm grips the lid of the coffin, and a pole shoots out of the elbow, raising the lid like a car jack. Dust and dirty air pours out of the coffin.
Damn, these 21st century people really didn't know how to bury their dead.
As the dust clears, we see the skeleton of Laura Lepers, and clutched closely to her chest, a purple plastic egg with a screen on the front.
Well, I'll be damned. The Tamagotchi. It's real.
Now, can you do one more that's like, whoa, whoa,
Whoa,
the Tamagotchi? Oh, this is real. He carefully removes the device from skeleton Laura's grip.
Now, let's put the power source in and see if this puppy still works. Marion, the batteries, please.
Marion removes the battery earrings from each lobe.
You know, Indy, this just means I'll be expecting some new jewelry in return. Doesn't have to be earrings, though.
She wiggles her I said fingers.
Her fingers.
She wiggles her fingers suggestively. Indy sweats. I feel like even though I've said it again, people are going to know that I had to say it multiple times because I have to stress fingers like a fucking idiot.
Did you want to do it again?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe do it this time as like a normal person.
Oh, like a normal person, yeah. Okay.
That would help, yeah.
He hasn't done that before, actually.
First time doing this. She wiggles... Wiggles is such a fun word. She wiggles her fingers suggestively. Indy sweats.
Totally. Yeah.
He takes the batteries and inserts them into the back of the device. The device's screen starts to glow as old mechanisms begin to whir for the first time in centuries.
It's beautiful.
The screen comes to life, displaying a playful little 8-bit snake pet. Indy screams and throws the Tamagotchi on the ground.
Ah, I fucking hate snakes!
Marion picks it up.
Oh, stop it, you big baby. It's actually pretty cute.
She Gucci goos the screen.
Come now, friends. We have our prize. Let us now escape before the enemy finds out we're here.
Just then, a laser gun cocks from behind them.
Up too late.
Waiting for the French accent to not disappoint. Just get one more ope.
Not a single person's gonna be offended by this. This is great.
Up too late.
We got like several regions in there of not France, of other areas.
Yeah, it's like a grand tour of Europe in like one word.
It's like a Gran Turismo of Europe.
Based on a true story.
There it is.
Please see the movie.
Hold on. I got it. I'm gonna do
You wanna
it.
do another one? Go ahead,
It's
go
my
ahead.
cigarette version.
Yeah. If you want to go ahead and
cigarette.
smoke a whole pack of cigarettes and then come back and do this line, it might help.
He's got the cigarette in one hand and then like the gun in the other. Up too late.
It's perfect.
That's a good one.
The protagonists turn around to find themselves face to face with the French archaeologist, Belloc, as multiple robo-Nazis now jump into the tomb and surround them.
Belloc, how did you find us?
Find you, Jones? We never lost you. You think just because you didn't open the door for us in Allentown that we would just abandon that lead?
I mean, maybe.
No, of course not, you stupid American. We've been trailing you since the gastropub.
Sorry, that was just ridiculous. You have?
Yes, why the fuck did you fly around the world just to get to Maryland, you Yankee Doodle dipshit?
This is giving so much like Austin Powers like,
It's
right
right, yeah.
now. It's so good.
I mean, that was the future jet, not me. Future jet does what it wants. You know, yesterday it wanted to gamble, and
Enough!
I don't know. Yeah.
Bellic fires the laser gun at the wall as a warning shot.
Now, Jones, you have been beaten. Out of sheer respect for you, I'm either going to give you a choice. Either you can give me the Tamagotchi, and I will let you and your friends live in service of the New World Leader, or I can kill you now and take it anyway. Choose.
Indy motions for Marion to give him the Tamagotchi. Hey, no funny business. Marion hands him the Tamagotchi and debates his options.
Don't do it, Indy!
Indy sighs and hands the device to Bellic. Bellic grins.
Oh, good doggy.
Marion lunges at Bellic, but is quickly thrown to the ground. Bellic looks displeased.
Kill the girl, stun the rest.
Yes, sir, with pleasure.
No, wait, don't!
The Robo-Nazi fires, and Marion is shot through the chest with a laser blast.
Marion!
Before Indy can react, the horde of Robo-Nazis open fire stun rays at him and Salah, and in an instant, they black out. Fade 2. Interior, Lebhurst Mausoleum, later. Indy wakes up from the stun attack slowly. As his vision becomes less fuzzy, he sees that he and Salah have been tied to a column in the mausoleum. He remembers what happened before the zapping and frantically looks around for Marion. He sees her body thrown in with Laura Lebhurst unceremoniously.
Belloc, you French fuck, we had a deal!
Belloc, who is busy putting the finishing touches on an altar at the far side of the mausoleum, turns to respond.
Dr. Jones, you rejoin us just in time to see our mission reach its goal. Bring in the Führer.
4 Robo-Nazis march past Jones and Salah, carrying a large mechanical coffin laced with gold.
It's him, Indy. They've done it. They've won.
Indy leans in close to Salah.
Listen, when they activate the device, no matter how much you want to look, you need to keep your eyes shut. Do you understand?
Well, yes. But why?
Just trust me, damn it!
The Robo-Nazis place the coffin on the altar. Belloc presses a button on the Tamagotchi, and a prompt pops up that reads, "Hatch new egg?"
Oui, hatch new egg.
He presses a button, and a new prompt pops up that reads, "Energy required to hatch new egg. Begin gathering energy?"
Oui, yes. Gather energy, you infernal contraption.
He presses a button, and the machine now begins to whir loudly.
Here it comes! Close your eyes, Salah!
At long last, I have won, Jones. After years of our little bouts, I've finally beaten you for good. And so, Dr. Jones, this is for you. Easy checkmate.
The screen on the Tamagotchi glows brighter and brighter, and Bellic stares right into it.
It's beautiful.
The whirring and the brightness continue to crescendo, and then, in an instant, light from the device snakes around the room, attaching itself to any open eyes in the tomb. As it does so, it begins to drain the life force of everything it touches, Bellic included, squeezing them like lemons until there's nothing but the rind left. The light retreats back into the device, and the empty husks fall to the floor, lifeless.
Indy, is it over?
Indy peeks one eye open.
Yeah, it's over. You can open your eyes, Salah.
He does so, and they both look around at the husks on the ground. Indy reveals a hidden knife and cuts his bonds. He stands up and helps Salah to his feet.
But I don't understand. Did it work?
Oh, it worked. But I had a feeling that Belloc and the Nazis failed to look much further in the history books after they heard what the Tamagotchi was capable of. In order to give life, it needed to take it first. The energy to breathe life doesn't just come from nowhere.
So you knew they'd activate the device and die themselves.
Right.
Brilliant, Indy! Brilliant!
Indy walks over to Belloc's husk and picks up the Tamagotchi.
And now, to put that life to good use.
He takes the device over to Marion in her hasty grave. He puts a hand on her, looks down at the device, which now reads, "Hatch new egg?" and clicks yes. Cut 2. Exterior, the Department of Future Defense. Day. Indy, cleaned up and dressed like a professor again, walks down the steps of the Department of Future Defense. He's clearly angry and frustrated by something.
Fools. It's just not fair. Why didn't it work? It should have worked.
Just then, the sliding door to the building above opens up, and out runs Marion, looking alive as ever. She catches up to Indy and takes his arm.
Oh, don't beat yourself up. You know they're just a bunch of bozos in there anyway.
Yeah, a bunch of bozos that are gonna get themselves and others killed because they don't know what they've got in there. The Tamagotchi doesn't belong to an army. It belongs in a museum.
Marion grabs Indy and kisses him just to shut him up.
Oh, stop worrying, would you? Stress lines will age you faster, and you're already way older than me.
That's fair.
He eases up.
So, night's free. We're in the big city, and we just got a bunch of military money. Want to hit a fancy restaurant or something classy like that?
Marion grins.
I have another idea.
Cut 2. Credits. As the credits roll, we see snapshots of their night as Marion takes Indy to a bar, drinks him under the table, and then stands on top of a different one, yelling something in celebration. Cut to black.